Jai Hind all of you. I am Manish Kumar, Assistant Professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. So, today I am going to brief you about the overview of collection framework. Okay. So, as we know that we have studied several concepts in Java, and this is one of the most important concepts that we will use in Java, that is the concept of collection framework. So, in today's lecture, I will try to brief you on the concept of this collection framework in this lecture. So, let me start. So, overview of collection framework. So, firstly, I just want to tell you ki what is the need of collections, why we need this collection framework, what is the requirement. So, if we able to understand it, then we can easily differentiate, we can easily define, we can easily understand the purpose ki why we use this concept of collections. Okay. So, let me start. We know that where in programming we used to declare a variable. Okay, we used to declare a variable like this, int a, like, so int a is equal to 5, and I have initialized this individual variable. Again, another variable I have taken, int b is equal to 10, right? Another variable I have taken, int c is equal to 15. So now I have only these three variables that I want to declare. So declaring means I am taking a memory in computer memory space in computer's memory, so that this value can be stored there, right? So if the requirement increases, for example, in future I just want to insert 10 elements, 50 elements, 100 elements, then what I will do? Yes, then we will prefer arrays. Okay. So individual elements are stored here. Okay. Now I need to declare more number of variables. Let us say 10 variables, 100 variables. So what I will do? I will not declare individually. I will declare with the help of an array. Right? You all know that array, int a array, and the size is given here. So what is array here? So array is fixed in size, number one. So there are number of limitations that we can use as a tool here. Array is fixed in size, right? Moreover, the elements which are similar type of elements we will keep in arrays, that is homogeneous elements are there, right? It will use to represent homogeneous elements. Okay. And we know that the contiguous memory allocation is there, right? And we know that some insertion and deletion deletion is little bit tedious as compared to other. So that you all have studied in that linked list. So another is that there is no concept of underlying data structure is there. Means array does not support underlying data structure. Underlying data structure means it doesn't provide any support to ready-made functions, ready-made methods. Ready-made methods are not there in array. So there are number of disadvantages. So to overcome these disadvantages, we will use the concept of collection. Okay. So you can see I have elaborated here. Firstly, we will use to declare individual elements, individual variables. So what is the advantage of array? Advantage of array is that we can represent multiple values with a single variable, right? Multiple values with a single variable. This is advantage. But this helps in the reusability of code, and there are number of limitations also. So limitations of object type array is that because we know that the size of array is fixed, if it is fixed, then there is no chance of increasing or decreasing its size according to our requirement. Although Java provides us a little bit of this increasing and decreasing. For example, you can see in this example in Java I have just declared here student, array, object s, new student. The size is, for example, the size is 10,000. Okay. So I am initializing the value as 0 is equal to new student. This is the correct way. This is the correct way. But if now I am taking this customer, so what happened? We have just make an object reference of this student type array, but here we are using this customer. So what happened? This is compiler error will be given. Okay, this will not executed. error will be given by Java compiler, है ना. But Java itself finds the way out. The solution is given by what we just need to declare an array of object type. Here we have declared an object type of a student, only student type, है ना. But here we have just declare the array of object type, है ना. Now it can support both student as well as customer. ठीक है. तो array concept is not implemented based on some standard data structure. No underlying data structure support is there in arrays. ठीक है. I have written here array concept is not implemented based on some standard data structure. Hence, if it is not there, then it does not provide any ready-made methods. It does not provide any ready-made support for the method, which is unavailable. Right? So it means we need to write the code explicitly. Let me explain. For example, in array, if I want to do sorting or searching, so for doing the sorting, what I have to do? I have to write some line of codes using this. I have to use 2 for loops are there, for sorting purpose. ठीक है, I need to write the code ना. ठीक है, because Java does not support standard data structure, not based on some standard data structure. Whereas in collection support that standard data structure support means it supports ready-made methods, but array does not support ready-made method because we need to write the code. And in collection we have already ready-made method dot sort like this. Okay, so there are some limitations that I have pointed out here. So to overcome these limitations that we have discussed, we should go for collection. So this is the requirement, this is the need for which we use collection. Okay, students. So now we can figure out that array is fixed in size. Array is fixed in size, whereas collection is growable in nature. It is growable in nature. We can increase and decrease the size. Okay. Array holds only homogeneous elements, right? Whereas collection can hold both homogeneous as well as heterogeneous elements, both. Okay. Array does not support any standard data structure, but collection supports. It is based on some standard data structure. What does it mean? It means that if it supports standard data structure, it means ready-made method support is there. Ready-made method support is there. ठीक है ना? So and being a programmer, we have to use this method, and we are not responsible to provide implementation. Okay, we can use these ready-made methods. So I think you can understand what is the need of these collections. Okay, now I have figured out the differences you can see here and note it down. We have already discussed कि array are fixed in size, collections are growable in nature, है ना? And yes, with respect to memory, arrays are not recommended, right? And with respect to memory, collections are recommended, right? With respect to performance, arrays are recommended to use. With respect to performance, collections are not recommended. What does it mean, performance? Because in collection we know that, for example, I have just taken an array, right? We know that array size is fixed. Okay, for example, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the size of the array. Okay, if I want to insert the 6th element here, then it is possible or not? So in case of arrays, it is not possible. In case of array, this is not possible. So I have written here with respect to memory, arrays are not recommended. Okay, but in collection, what happened? Let us just understand why we prefer with respect to memory, collections are preferred, because for example, the initial size is 5. Okay, now I want to insert the 6th element here. So what happened in case of collection? In case of collection, internally what happened? The new memory is assigned. New memory has been assigned. Okay, in case of collection, new memory is assigned whenever this the size is full and we want to insert the 6th element. So in case of collection, what happened? Internally, new memory, new object is assigned. All the elements are copied here one by one. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. All the elements are inserted one by one. Whenever we want to insert the 6th element, then it is inserted here. We will insert that 6th element here. And after inserting, the object which is referencing to this, the object which is referencing to this has been referenced to this new location, and this old memory is go for garbage collection. This happens in collection. So with respect to memory, collections are recommended to use. Okay, now you will be able to understand. Yes. Now in case of performance, when we talk about performance, we will recommend always arrays, because in case of collection, what happened whenever, for example we have 1000 elements, yeah, 10,000 elements are there, okay, and I want to insert the element at this position, first index position. So what happened, whenever the element is being inserted here, the element is inserted, all the next elements will keep on shifting. So it will take lot of time. If there are 10,000 elements, so after a couple of hours you will get a message that the element has been inserted. Same is the case of deletion. Now for example, if I want to delete the element, then what happens, this shifting towards left will take place. So after a couple of times or more time, the message will be displayed, the element has been deleted. So according to performance, collections are not recommended, while in case of arrays, when we talk about performance, we will prefer arrays. Okay. Now next, number 4, collections can hold homogeneous data elements, that we have seen. Same type of elements can be kept in arrays, but in collection we can keep homogeneous as well as heterogeneous elements. Okay, different types of data types we can keep. Okay, this also we have seen, there is no underlying data structure, no support for underlying data structure. It means that no ready-made methods support is there, but in collection ready-made method support is there, because collection class is implemented based on some standard data structure. Okay, array can hold primitives and object types. We have already seen in array, for example, it is used to hold int, also integer object. Array can be used to hold both primitives and object types, but in collections it can hold only objects, not primitive. So these are some differences which I have pointed out before going forward. So now we can come and define the definition key, what is collection. So in Java, what is collection? We can define a collection as a group of individual objects. We want to see those groups. For example, I can see this is the student object S1, student object S2, student object S3, another object S4. So this is a group of individual object, okay, can be seen as a single entity. So this is the definition of collection. What is collection? So if we want to represent a group of individual object as a single entity, then we should go for collection. Okay students, this is collection, number 1. Secondly, what is collection framework? Now we want to represent this group of individual objects as a single entity. Now we used to define how we are going to use it, how we are going to implement these collection. So for using these collection, I need number of classes and interfaces. So under this collection framework, we used to define those classes and interfaces. Okay students, it defines several classes and interfaces which can be used by a group of objects as single entity. Okay, so collection is just a representation of a group of individual objects as a single entity. Whenever we want to use these individual objects which are represented in a group, we need some classes and interface, we need some support, and that is given by this collection framework. So in this collection framework, it consists of number of classes and interfaces through which we can use these group of objects. Okay, so let me move forward. So now I just want to tell you that this concept of collection, the concept of collection is old. This is important, है ना? This is an old concept. This is important, but only words are new. What words are new? In Java we use collection, but before collection in C++ it is defined as container. Okay, in C++ the same concept is defined as a container, and in Java it is told as collection. Okay, and collection framework, what is this collection framework? In C++, this collection framework is known as STL, Standard Template Library. You see this is library. What is library? Library, again, library is a group of where number of classes and interfaces are there. तो library है ना, तो this is STL, and here we call it as a collection framework. Okay, so keep in mind the concept is old but the words are new. For example, collection and collection framework. So what is the basic aim of using this container collection? Actually, the main aim is that in container we used to keep different objects, na? है ना? Just we have defined what is collection. Collection is a group of individual objects which can be seen as a single entity, है ना? And what is container? In container also we used to keep some number of objects, है ना? And what is the role of that container? We used to transfer it from one place to another place. That is how we can transfer from one place to another place with the help of network. ठीक है, तो those objects, individual objects can be transferred on network from one place to another place. This we will see in further lecture. So this is the concept of collection framework. This is old concept, but words are new, which previously in C++ we will use it as a container and a standard template library. Okay, now you can see this is the diagrammatical overview of a collection framework. So as we have told, just defined key what is a collection framework. Collection framework consists of number of classes and interface. So in bracket I have used I. This is an interface. So collection is the base interface, main interface. Okay, collection is the main interface where the sub interface is list, number one, second one is set, and third one is queue. Under this list interface we have implementation class called as array list, linked list, vector, and stack. Okay, under this set interface we have this hash set. This is the implementing class, linked hash set. Base interface of this set is set is the base interface of this sorted set, one new navigable set and tree set. Okay, queue is the base interface for priority queue. Implementing class is blocking queue, priority blocking queue, and linked blocking queue. Now the question arises that where we have to use this list, where we have to use this set, when to use this queue. The question arises, sir, where we have to use these interfaces, then how should we come to know? Now just listen carefully. Whenever we want to retain the same order in which we have provided the elements, means we want to keep the order in the same, internal memory allocation is the same as user has given. So we want to keep the order same. So number one, in same order should be maintained. When we want to maintain the same order, number one. ठीक है. Secondly, repetitions are allowed. Repeat, RPEAT, repeatable means more than one same elements can come. Whenever repetition is allowed, ठीक है. For example, in a given list there is first element, for example A, second is B, third is for example 10, again A is there. So this duplicacy is there. Duplicacy is allowed. Same elements can repeat again. When there is a condition such that in a list same elements comes again more than once, repeatable, that I said repeatable, here I can say duplicate elements can take place. Duplicacy, ठीक है. And we want to retain the same order, maintain the same order in which we have given the list in internal memory, in the memory. Then we will prefer list interface. Then we will use list. Okay, just keep in mind there are two important properties that list follow. Number one is duplicacy is there. Number two, we have to maintain the order. Then we will use list. Okay, and the implementing class of list is array list, linked list, vector, and stack. Okay, if we do not want to retain these two properties, means we do not want duplicacy. No duplicacy. No elements are there. No duplicacy should be there. Number one. And we do not want to retain the order. No order is there. Means elements are coming randomly and elements are storing randomly in the list. It is not necessary that the element that we have provided first will store at first location. It is not the necessity. in these case we will prefer set. Okay, under this set interface we have implementation class hash set and linked hash set. Okay, and if the if we want to maintain, the user wants some in we want to keep elements in some sorted order, then this sorted set interface is used. Okay, navigable set means, for example, what is the element that will come next, what is the element which come before navigable. These operations are supported by this navigable set interface, and the implementing class is tree set. Okay, now third comes queue. When to use queue interface? For example, if we want to do some pre-processing means, just example, for example, I just want to send SMS to number of, okay, and before sending SMS I just want numbers, right? If I have to send mail to my students, okay, and before sending those mail I want the list of those objects, of those mails, okay, so I just want to do pre-processing before doing some operation, then in that case I will use queue interface. Okay students, so under this queue interface we have a priority queue interface, and the implementing class is blocking queue, priority blocking queue, and linked blocking queue. Okay. Now you are seeing the, I have written some 1.2v, 1.2v, 1.2v. These are the version. Means this collection, the concept of collection came in 1.2 version of Java. The concept of list came in 1.2 version. Okay, array list 1.2 version, linked list 1.2 version. The concept of this vector and stack came in 1.0 version, older version. Okay. Now I have this, make the circle here and written here legacy classes. Legacy classes means this is the older concept. So I have written here version, 1.2 version, 1.2 version. Now you are seeing this circle, na? This is the older version. This comes from the older version, vector and stack 1.0. Hash set comes in 1.2 version. Linked set came in 1.4 version, latest version, है ना? Just sorted set 1.2 version, 1.6 version, navigable set, the concept, tree set 1.2 version, priority queue came in 1.5 version, queue 1.5 version, blocking queue, priority blocking queue, linked blocking queue, this came in 1.5 version. Okay. Now next is the map interface. Now this is also an important. So when to use map interface? We have just seen ki what is collection. Collection is the set of individual, when we want to see those individual object as a single entity. Okay. Whenever we do not want objects, we want as a key value. We do not want in the form of objects. We want in the form of key values. Whenever we want the key values, okay, then we will use the map interface concept. Okay. In the previous concept, these we used to declare the variables, है ना, objects. Okay. So whenever in place of object we want a key values, then we will use this map interface. Okay. And it is further divided. This map interface can be implemented using hash map, linked hash map, same, the version is there, 1.2, 1.4, weaked hash map, identity hash map, weaked hash map, weaked hash map, weaked hash map. ठीक है ना, 1.2, 1.2, this is a version. Okay. Now this is another concept of hash table. Now for example, whenever we want to bring old version, old concept into our new concept, then we will use the concept of hash table. Okay. This dictionary is the parent of this hash table, and its implementing class is properties. So this is the legacy. This came in 1.0 version, so it is called as, these are called as legacy classes also. Okay. Now you have seen that now there are two important concepts. So this is the overview. Okay, collection. Now you are using that this is the sorted list we are using here, sorted set. Okay, and again we are using here identity hash map, dictionary hash table, weaked hash map, sorry, this is the sorted hash map. Sorry, this is sorted hash map. Okay, this is sorted hash map. So there are two important concepts that we will use. The concept of sorting. Whenever we want the default sorting, कि system automatically insert the elements, sort the elements in default manner, then we will use comparable interface. This is default. Okay, whenever we used to customize the list according to developer, customize sorting. So for this customization, we will use comparator interface. Okay. Now, for example, we want to perform number of operations on the individual objects. We want to perform operations on individual objects, because individual objects, and those individual objects is in the collection. Okay. And we want to perform operation on individual objects. We want objects one by one. Then there is a concept in collection called as cursors concept is there. Okay. And under cursor we have enumeration interface, iterator interface, and list iterator interface is there. These are the three cursors. What is the concept of cursor? Cursor, whenever we will want to perform one by one, we want to perform number of operations on individual objects. Okay. Then we will use the concept of enumeration iterator and list iterator. And there are two important utility classes that comes under collection: collections and arrays. There are two utility classes that comes under collection framework, that is collections and arrays. Okay. So now we can define that what is collection interface. So if we want to represent a group of individual objects as a single entity, then we should go for collection, already defined. When to use collection framework? Collection framework is the root of all the interfaces. Okay. And it will define most of the methods, most of the interfaces that we will going to use. That is the collection, है ना? And there are some of the important methods that we use in collection. For example, if we want to add the elements, then we will use or add. The method name is add. Add a object. For example, I have defined an object L, object L dot add. For example, the name of the object is L dot add. So we will use add. For example, I will add A. So in my list, A is inserted, and in my empty list, A is inserted. When we want to add the number of elements, add all in the given collection, then I will use add all. Want to remove individual object, remove is there. Remove all collections, then remove all is there. Retain all means except that particular group, I want to delete all the elements. Except that, delete all the elements, retain all. Okay, clear? All the collections are cleared. Contains means whether I want to check whether that particular object is in my collection or not. Contains all collection. This will check for collection. This is check for collection. Okay. Boolean is empty is there. I will check whether my collection is empty or not. If not empty, then I will check the size. Okay. Object to array. I want to convert collection to array. C dot to array method is used to convert from collection to array. Okay. And this is iterator. Iterator means when I want to perform object by object, one by one. So these are some of the important methods that comes in collection interface. Okay. Comes in collection interface, and we have these underlying classes also. Those methods were all applicable in these classes. Plus there are some specific methods also there which we will use here. Okay, students. So I think this is the general introduction, overview of the collection framework that you will keep in mind. Okay. So thank you. Thank you for today.